What's up, Alpha? It's your boy, Alpha Zelmae. You know how we do. We looking cute, we looking clean, and we looking sexy. And it's Just a Fan Wrestling. We here to talk about Tony Khan. Did he deliver on his promise? Or did he just get confused and just do things? And we gotta talk about Matt Hardy, Jeff Hardy. We gotta talk about that situation between Matt Hardy, Jeff Hardy, the Hall of Fame, and why Vince McMahon hates Jeff Hardy. And anything else we see up in the news. And I'm here today with my guy to my left, Afro Comedy 765. Torrey, how you doing?
You already know, local neighborhood scumbag here to rip Tony Khan's fanboy book into pieces here today. I'm here to tell you everything that was wrong with last night's Dynamite and why it was bad.
As y'all know, Dynamite happened last night. It was a highly promised Dynamite with the Forbidden Door being open, and Tony Khan admitting that he got confused on the definition of Forbidden Door. So he made a call.
Kudos to him for it.
So he called.
I want you all to know that was the first thing that Zelmae had to say when Tony Khan mentioned his Forbidden Door. He was like, "Did he forget what the meaning of Forbidden Door was?"
And he's going to shut it behind him. Out. I like, you can't.
Yeah.
The Forbidden Door it's already meant to be shut. You can't shut it behind you. You're signing a free agent.
No.
So he said.
I was about to say it's not the Forbidden Door. If they're a free agent, there's no company that they're.
So, of course, Tony Khan.
I'm also here to tell you guys, all you Keith Lee stands, he looked horrible last night. Oh. He did not look like he was in shape.
What? I like Keith Lee, so I ain't gonna say nothing bad about Keith Lee. But I don't know where Torrey got that from.
Zelmae is here to like Keith Lee. I'm here to be like,
Keith Lee never looks in shape, Torrey. Keith Lee never looked in shape, so I don't know.
No, you go look at a picture of him from last night, and then go look at a picture of him in NXT. There's a big difference. I did not think that there was until all day. I have seen nothing on Twitter, but people with before and after pictures.
Let him have a married gut. Leave him alone.
Well, he should have waited. He should have waited till after the honeymoon to debut. Then
Tony Khan promised people a bunch of promises that everybody had to. He had to make a phone call late Sunday night to get Jay White because he promised the Forbidden Door.
King Switch meant more to me than Keith Lee did, because
and he wasn't supposed to be there. So that's crazy.
There is a somewhat promise of Kenny Omega versus Jay White again, and that is just good wrestling.
Well, he wasn't supposed to show up to her. Jay White was literally called because Tony Khan like, I messed up.
But the thing is, he's cut so many promos over the Forbidden Door here lately that he just sort of works. Because you can go look, because he's been on New Japan Strong. He's been running the US of J Open Challenge, and he's been wrecking boys through and through. And he's cut a promo after every one of those matches where he's been like, I see all these free agents. He's like, I've got my key to the Forbidden Door, but I'm choosing not to use it. And now apparently Tony Khan messed up the definition of Forbidden Door, and Jay White decided to use his key at this point in time. So
he had the key that his key was Tony Khan gonna forget what he's doing.
Also, I don't know if you saw this, but Will Ospreay cut one of the sickest promos ever on Jon Moxley in Rev Pro a couple of nights ago. And I mean, Jon Moxley and Will Ospreay are like the completely opposite styles of wrestling. So that match could either be super amazing or super bad. But it was a bad promo. While he was cutting the promo on Jon Moxley, he cut a promo on somebody's mom in the audience for making a face for him using all the expletives that he used to describe Jon Moxley, which were mostly of the female anatomy that he was deciding to call him. So if Will Ospreay comes through the Forbidden Door, Tony could get I might have some forgiveness for him, because Will Ospreay is low key, whether people want to admit it or not, easily top wrestlers right now. Osprey's in there.
Yeah. Tony,
And if
stop
you don't,
saying words.
If you don't agree with that, then yeah.
Tony, stop saying words. Stop hyping people up.
Just
let the
you got to
fans
take
do
the
it.
cue from Vince. Let the audience do the hyping, because once you feed into it, you're gonna look crazy if you can't pull it off. Like last night, if he wouldn't have said nothing, Keith Lee would have came out. People would have been happy. That pop wouldn't have been. I've seen so many people hyping up the pop he got, and like mid.
I don't know.
It was mid.
I don't know if the
like when people and so many people knew. Like how many Keith Lee signs did you see in that crowd? Because I saw at least 3.
You can blame Dave Meltzer for spoiling it like a week later, like a week before.
Well, do you blame Dave Meltzer, or do you blame Tony for telling Dave all of his plans?
But Shamrock Sapp did have the CM Punk thing, and it still blew out the roof off the building. But he was in his hometown.
Well, that's because none of us really thought CM Punk was coming back. We thought that he was done.
Sean told me, I believe, because Sean said it. Sean don't usually lie to me. I don't know how Sean get these scoops. Yeah.
Because he's one of the bigger media platform and wrestlers. If I've learned anything from Jim Cornette, it's that wrestlers can't hold hot water.
And they love Sean Ross.
Wrestlers are gonna tell.
I don't know if they love.
And then Dave, Keith Lee, he got changes. He changed his Twitter name to All Elite. Like, bro, come on. I almost unfollowed him when I saw that. I'm not gonna lie.
Let's show love to Keith Lee a little bit. That catch was amazing. Oh, an old boy dropped.
That was cool. But there were so many. That crossbody was sloppy. That Beal was cool. That was one of the. But if we're just gonna run a bunch of, I feel like in a way Keith Lee is about to take away from the believability. I think we talked about this. Keith Lee could take away from the believability of a lot of these matches.
And that's because
Kenny Omega comes back and beats Keith Lee, bro.
And to this point, what we were talking about yesterday is the style. WWE does a great style of David versus Goliath style. And AEW,
they know how to work a big man match.
Yeah, and AEW typically, if you watch the Hangman Lance Archer match, you can see that they typically do it like it's a regular wrestling match. I'm like, no, that guy is a lot bigger. You should.
But see, here's the thing. Even Hangman, I saw Hangman. He was like, I'm so tired of bleeding in every match that I'm in. But I'm like, you bleed so good. That is what, for all you people that love Hangman, he is a mid wrestler, but he is a top tier bleeder. He is a top tier bleeder. That boy can gush.
Torrey's Hangman did amazing last night. His mannerisms after the match was great. The little whole thing like this, where he was bleeding on the rope, and then Adam Cole put the belt on top of him.
I'm not gonna lie, I halfway popped when I saw that Dan Lambert was taken down the top rope. I was like, okay. That's super smart. I like that. You're trying to neutralize the buckshot.
And I will get it off in a cool way.
I will give Hangman his props in that one department. The vaulting buckshot off of the referee's back was a cool move. The rest of that match was a garbage indie style match. Not to sound too much like Jim Cornette, but that's what it was. It was a garbage indie match. Like, I thought we were watching Hangman and Lance Archer, not Nick Gage and John Moxley.
That's my problem with the match. I know people liked it, but for the people you bring in, if they actually watch, they'd be like, why is this big dude taking these spots and jumping for him when he's clearly like 3 times his size? It takes it out of certain spots.
That's why the buckshot's so good, though, because it is easy for anybody to sell the buckshot lariat. It's easy to sell a lariat, period, as long as the person, like, kudos to Hangman. You can do the most simple wrestling move in all of wrestling really, really well. It's still not better than John Moxley's King Kong lariat, in my opinion, but shout out to John Moxley for wearing I saw a lot of people being like, oh, I didn't know John Moxley liked anime. He was wearing an Akira hoodie. Here's to all you people. That was not an Akira anime hoodie. That was Akira the Deathmatch Specialist hoodie. There is a difference between the two. The Akira that is famous for death matches in all Japan is not the Akira that rides a super futuristic motorcycle. They're two different people. So, breaking news, John Moxley is not an anime fan. He is a fan of Japanese death matches, to nobody's surprise.
Yeah. Let's go over the show. Let's quickly go over. The opening segment was MJF. I thought it started off brilliant, and then it went into something else I didn't care about. But
shout out to MJF for making out with his girlfriend on the way out to the ring. That was funny. I always enjoyed like people doing super lewd stuff in wrestling. I also enjoy people bleeding in wrestling. That's why anytime somebody's got to bleed, have Hangman in there. That dude can bleed.
Him and Cody Rhodes in a bleeding match.
Yeah, Cody Rhodes bleeding. Hell, he got to take a cue from Dustin. Dustin, the best bleeder I've ever seen. And that was literally him and Cody's both best matches, in my opinion. Like, Cody versus Dustin in the early days of AEW is like the best match that each of them have had there.
Yeah, we're going over the
show. I'm also, I'm not going to lie. I'm sort of getting behind Wardlow's face turn now. They're doing it. But I feel like MJF is laying all of this out. Like, I don't feel like this is TK's booking for MJF and Wardlow. I feel like this is MJF's booking, but I could be wrong.
Like I told you, let MJF book the show. So what I said,
that's
okay. Just let him make all the matches too. Just let him do all of it. It's just
and for the first time, people, you are hearing Zelmae sound like Jim Cornette. Jim Cornette holds that same opinion. Let MJF book the show.
But MJF, but yeah, it started off incredible. It went back to CM Punk, and I wanted to move on.
I'm waiting for Ward. I can't wait, bro. If Wardlow does not break Shawn Spears in half, I will stop watching AEW for about a week.
But shout out to that power bomb is the one time I actually saw that crowd pop. Like the power bomb symphony is so amazing because the power bomb, as we've heard from multiple wrestlers throughout the years, there ain't no way to fake it. If you taking a power bomb, you're taking. That's why Booker T said, "I don't take power bombs all like that because there ain't no way to prepare for it. There ain't no way to, god dang, soften the blow or nothing. You are getting guided straight into the mat by your opponent, and you gonna take the hit." But Wardlow has an amazing his power bomb and. Don't kill me, people, but I mean this. His power bomb is almost as good as Kevin Nash's power bomb, and that is saying something because Kevin Nash may lack in a lot of places, but that jackknife power bomb is still one of the most devastating things you will see in a wrestling ring. Well, behind Seth Rollins throwing people into random rails.
That's so scary, though. Seth Rollins, please. We don't need any more buckle bombs, no more barricade bombs. Somebody is going to get hurt.
Like I said, that's a slinging power bomb. He's throwing you away, not even guiding.
And that's the thing. He's not guiding them down and holding on to them like a regular. They leave his control. And once someone is flying in air, there is only so much, if any, control that you have once you're flying through the air.
That's the most devastating power bomb because that done took people out.
I mean, Finn Balor, it ended his Universal Championship career before it even started. I mean, put Sting out for how many years before he showed back up in AEW? You know what I mean? We thought Sting was never going to wrestle again. And that's I give Seth leeway on the Sting incident because you got to blame some of that on Sting. If you're willing to get in the ring at 50, I mean, you got to just sort of accept that stuff ain't running like it used to. And while we talk about stuff not running like it used to, I'm so happy to see that Jake the Snake is looking a lot better. Like, he didn't have the oxygen on when he came out to the ring. He even hit Hangman with a short arm clothesline. So even though Jake the Snake is one of the most horrible figures in wrestling, just like a really actual bad person. Good for him for still getting some exercise in there. But like you were saying, going through the show, MJF's segment started out really good, but I feel like they sort of lost the plot a little bit at the end.
The only reason I told y'all last week, the only reason I liked that he beat him twice is because the rivalry should be over. It should be, I'm better than the best in the world. I beat CM Punk twice in his hometown. He should brag about it, and he should go into the championship. Instead, we get Adam Cole, who beat Evil Uno and lost the Orange Cassidy. It didn't count.
And now he's getting
It didn't count.
He's getting the title shot. We're getting Adam versus Adam at Revolution. Mark my words, people.
I've been on y'all side for so long. WWE, why do they get championship shots? They don't even earn it. Adam Cole just walked out and said, I want the belt. I want a shot. And that's just wrestling 101. You just go out there and ask for it. See, this is why y'all don't get title shots. Y'all don't just go out. Lost to Bianca Belair 5 times and be like, hey, I want a title shot. And they're like, okay, get in the match. If you beat her this time, you got it. And she did. And Adam Cole just lost to Orange Cassidy and beat Evil Uno, and that's it. And he got.
But it was a lights out match, though. It doesn't count. It doesn't. count.
We watched something that don't count apparently because WWE don't count, but you complain about that. So AEW, it don't count if they.
That's a fact.
It don't count. They don't count. I'm like, bro, why did we do it then? It was a referee. Why do you have a referee if it don't count?
I'm ready to see Danhausen make his in-ring debut, though.
It's like we just say things.
Just let Danhausen beat up Lance Archer too. Since we're just letting people beat the few big men that you have in the promotion. And let Danhausen beat Wardlow. Let Danhausen beat Jade Cargill too.
Jake Hager. Speaking of, the Inner Circle segment was absolutely terrible.
Let's go, Inner Circle breakup.
That was terrible. That was a terrible segment. Y'all keep telling me
unless it leads to them breaking up, and then it was an amazing segment.
It was still terrible. I don't care. That was some horrible acting in that whole segment.
I
did like
if this leads to the breakup, that is my favorite segment of 2022 so far.
I did like the interaction with the camera work when they looked at the camera. I loved it.
Oh yeah.
That was nice.
Santana's facials during that. I have a picture saved from that match, which is just him at the end where he looks at the camera where when Jericho says that attendance is mandatory and he just makes that wow look at the camera. So be prepared on Twitter, people. I am going to use that for all of your talking crazy. It's just going to be a picture of Santana being like, wow.
But the acting in this, I was confused of why Sammy was like he was he was with his parents and they were arguing.
Yeah, he was literally like, "You guys have to stop arguing, or I'm not gonna be here with my 2 belts that are the exact same."
He's like, "I'm so gonna leave." I'm like, "I've quit before. I quit again." I'm like,
"I'll quit again." Listen, please, just quit, Sammy.
I'm like, these two clearly just said they want to quit. Why are we?
I was about to say why is it still an argument? Unless Chris Jericho's gonna win that tag team match next week and just force Santana and Ortiz to stay in the Inner Circle. Watch.
What would that make this segment then, Torrey?
Oh, I don't even want to talk. We'll get demonetized. That should not happen, but if it happened, I would get banned from a lot of platforms for things that I would say bad about Tony Khan and his mother.
What's wrong with what?
She brought him into the world. Once you bring up, listen, for anything that I do extra crazy, people, feel free to hold my mother accountable. She brought me here.
What? So,
if you do anything I don't like in wrestling, I'm going to talk bad about your mama.
Why don't you blame Shad and the horrible way he run the Jaguar?
Hey, if his pops wouldn't have popped his mama, he wouldn't be here. So Shad can get some blame too.
We blaming all Shad, bro. We ain't blaming mom. Shout out to mom. But my point is, it was
you can tell who's the face and the heel of this episode. Zelmae's the consummate face, and I'm here to heel it up for everybody.
And that's the opposite of what it was like 2 weeks ago. Chris Jericho acting was atrocious.
Chris Jericho is atrocious.
Shut up, Sammy. And then Sammy like he about to cry. I'm like, what is this?
Yeah, it was man.
And I saw people, AEW stands loved it. I'm like, this is like horrible soap opera. Y'all
That's
complain about
what I man. It's just
I'm like, bro. He like, if it wasn't for all the Ben dropped you, I like that line. By the way, Santana and them, like, I like them in the segment. It's just
they're good. They are the best part of LAX that has ever been. Santana and Ortiz are better than Homicide and Conan. They are better than Danny Limelight and whoever the other Hispanic gentleman is in that group now. But they got to get away from Chris Jericho.
They were good in this segment. I don't want to downplay them like they were
the only good part of the segment. Thank goodness they didn't let Jake Hager talk though, because that
Chris Jericho. I picked the wrong people of LAX. If I knew their attitude, I'm like, are you a grandfather? What is this?
I mean, he is old enough to be somebody's grandfather. I'm pretty sure all of his kids are of college age right now. So
I'm like, what is this?
It could be a grandpa.
This segment is terrible. Sammy wants to quit. I'm like, this dude is your
all
champion.
People go stream his band so he will leave AEW.
You know, he can't leave. He's the Undertaker of AEW.
Nah, don't do that. That is disrespectful to the Undertaker.
I didn't say it. He said it. I'm just going off what he said.
I'm glad I didn't see that because listen, I will endure a lot of things. Undertaker slander of that magnitude is not one of them.
I'm like, bro, you are
Chris. For those of you who don't know, the Undertaker and I share a birthday, so it's we're locked in forever.
But yeah, that segment was absolutely.
Chris Jericho is just so bad, and it sucks because he was good back in the day, but he hasn't been good since the List of Jericho. Let's be honest.
Chris Jericho. I did like the beginning Pain. When he versus
the Painmaker.
Yeah, I did like that.
The Painmaker. His New Japan run was decent. Okay, I'll give Chris Jericho that. He had a decent New Japan run. The Painmaker.
Yeah, and even the beginning of AEW, I liked it, but then it got kind of. I feel like he's trying to be WWE without the WWE writers.
That's what it is.
I'm like,
that's exactly what it is.
This comes off awkward. I'm like, get WWE writers.
He's doing it worse than they do.
Yeah, I feel like he fits it though. I feel like he fits WWE writing because you made the list. It's stupid, but it works.
He fits the writing, but that doesn't make the writing any better.
Yeah, like, you made the list was fun to me, and it was some stupid crap he made up with writers. It was stupid and quirky, and now he's trying to be quirky, but he's trying to be serious too. And I'm like, this doesn't.
And it's just not working.
Chris Jericho, you are not a serious. You have never been a serious character.
You are a comedy character. In case you did not know, you are a wrestling laughing stock.
You're
in the most positive way possible.
You're a great wrestler, especially younger. And you
were a great wrestler. We all saw you fail that lion salt last year, okay? And we have not forgotten.
You gave us great match. You and Kenny Omega, all them matches was great. I'm not gonna.
Yeah, they were decent. Kenny was amazing.
Oh yeah, Torrey like,
I told you, I'm the heel this episode. I ain't got nothing nice to say about AEW tonight.
But Chris Jericho, he amazing wrestler. He's I can't take him seriously because he doesn't come up. His voice don't even fit serious tone.
I was about to say it does not. He sounds like a Simpson character.
When he said attendance is mandatory, I felt like that was the least manly threat I've ever heard in my life. Attendance is mandatory. I'm like, that sounded so weak that the dude laughed at you and I felt them. That's amazing. Yeah, that's how I felt
like it was. Like I said, shout out to Santana because I feel like everything he said during that talk, he was telling the truth. Like, I feel like that was a shoot. I'm not gonna lie.
Like, I can see Roman Reigns saying attendance is mandatory to the Usos, and it worked. Right?
Yeah, but Roman Reigns lives on the Isle of Relevancy, and he is our tribal chief. All hail Roman Reigns, head of the table. But
if Brock Lesnar said attendance is mandatory, I was like, oh, he gonna eat you.
Yeah, if you don't show up, you could end up like Randy Orton in that match where he got elbowed and bleeding the hard way.
Yeah. You know, Chris Jericho would brag that he fought Brock Lesnar. I'm like, Brock probably didn't fight you serious. I'm gonna be honest with you.
I was about to say, you probably didn't actually fight Brock Lesnar because you want to know how nasty Brock Lesnar was? Go back and watch some of his college wrestling videos from when he was part of the Minnesota Wrecking Crew of 2000. That kid at that time was a monster.
They basically,
and still is.
And from what I read, they basically said y'all was in like a shoving match. It wasn't like a.
Yeah, it was like pushing back and forth. Didn't nobody actually? It's not like
you might have thought
Kofi
Goldberg
Kingston,
though, but I don't.
McMahon.
Goldberg a meathead. You can kind of trick a meathead, but
yeah,
you can get around a meathead. But yeah, Brock
but
fought you
people
seriously.
forget Brock is a college-educated gentleman. That man's got a degree in everything.
Yeah. And shout out to you for being tough enough to take him on, though. I don't want to discredit you, but I don't think he fought you seriously.
I do. Chris Jericho, you are as whack as they come right now. And your commentary is garbage.
Oh, no. Oh, that I will forever criticize you for. You make Rampage unwatchable. I just want you to know that. You sound like you're trying to be JR.
I tune him out. I'm not going to lie.
No,
I can tune him out.
It is atrocious.
It is bad, though.
Oh my God, did you see it? I'm like, why do you talk like this? Why are your voice so squeaky?
And him, like when he had that, he was talking about Hook. He was talking about Hook the last Rampage, and it was like, oh, Hook just came out of the wind tunnel. His hair looks amazing. I was like, what does that have to do with building this kid's bravado? Shout out to Hook in the strip club.
Yeah, I'm like his hair is incredible. Taz, Hook is incredible.
Hey. Put the TNT title on Hook. Tony, if you hear this, put the TNT title on Hook.
Yeah. And sign.
I know a lot of people don't want to see Hook get a streak out of this, but I mean, until you put him into a match with somebody top tier, he should run through your whole mid card. Unless he's up against Kenny Omega, Hangman, Bryan Danielson, CM Punk, Jon Moxley, until he gets, and he will get there. And I've seen a lot of people complaining about how they're booking him like Taz, but people forget the way they booked Taz in ECW worked. That's the reason we still remember Taz.
Yo,
so
shout out to Jade Cargill. She's getting better, just like the people from NXT.
She is getting better. She is. Also, I feel sort of bad now because I just saw a report that AQA is taking all of the blame for the sloppy parts of that match. And some of them were her fault. Some of them weren't her fault. Her going up for that second shooting star press was dumb.
I said that.
The first one was clean. It looked good. You leave well enough alone once you hit the first one like that, because you don't want to end up like Brock trying to hit the shooting star press on Kurt Angle back in the day. And
Brock had some classic moments. It was like stupid.
Yeah. You notice after that match, he quit hitting the shooting star press. Though it was impressive to see a dude that big hit a shooting star press.
I sure don't think he can do it no more. He 100 pounds bigger.
Yeah, he's way bigger than he was then. He ain't trying to hit that. I mean, he quit trying to hit it after he got hit that time when he did it on Kurt. Because that whole match was to get Kurt out of there because he was seriously injured and needed to take time off. And then they thought that, oh Lord, Brock Lesnar just got broken too, so who's gonna keep going?
Dave Bautista. But shout out to the show. It was not.
It was mid.
It was good. It just you hyped the expectations up too much.
Yeah, okay. I'll give him that. If he wouldn't have done all the hyping, the show would have came off a lot cleaner than it did. But he did do all that hyping, so.
Yeah, the show I was expecting that show when like Daniel Bryan came out and.
Oh yeah,
I was expecting.
I thought we were going to get at
Cole.
least 3 debuts. I thought we would get Keith Lee, another one, and then I did not think for a second though it was a decent swerve if we would have been hyped for new people. CM Punk working with Jon Moxley in the same trunks that he wore to face the Shield. Okay, that's a little. Although I want to know how Eddie Kingston feels about his best friend Jon Moxley. Teaming up with CM Punk, which is the last match that he had before he took his little break. So,
well, how does Daniel Bryan feel
Moxley too out of this?
How does Daniel Bryan feel that CM Punk taking his tag team?
Hey, start a super group with Moxley, Punk, and Daniel Bryan, Bryan Danielson. There we go.
Yeah.
Start a super group with those three and add in Lee Moriarty and get Daniel Garcia away from 2.0, because I know some people like 2.0 and they do some decent stuff, but I was burnt out on them when they were in NXT and they really haven't done anything new since they've shown up in AEW. Daniel Garcia, though, even since he is the secret love child of Brie Bella and Bryan Danielson, he gets a pass because I ain't gonna lie. If Daniel Garcia did what Will Ospreay did and just puts on a bunch of muscle, bro, he could be more than just a mid-card heel.
Yeah.
I'm not saying he could be MJF levels, but he could get there. MJF should be if MJF isn't the next in line to hold the AEW world title, Tony Khan's booking is truly garbage.
First thing we're gonna leave this segment. We're gonna go to a little bit of WWE talk.
Yeah.
Tony Khan, stop putting Dan Lambert on first. Everybody leave the show. That's the first. I know some people like, oh, it's funny, bro. His ratings tank every time Dan. Look it up. I looked it up. Every time Dan Lambert starts the show, his ratings go way down. Start the show, they're like, nah, bro. I don't know what this is. Man. This is him and Brandon. This is terrible. This whole segment is terrible. You might be.
I'm not gonna lie though. That Brandy segment, I felt sort of bad for Brandy during that segment.
You felt
I think
you felt bad because the crowd. You didn't feel bad because the segment was good. You felt because the crowd.
No, I felt bad because the crowd really. I mean, Brandy has go away heat, bro. Not heel heat, not managerial heat. She has please leave heat.
So you started the show with MJF and having that moment where he came out and bragged about being twice like that. So keep up doing stuff like that. And stop putting on 40-minute main events. Stop putting out 50-minute starting matches that take up the whole show. And then you see no one else for like 3 weeks. And then we missed out. Say that for pay-per-views.
Yeah.
Make it special. Because I hate that we know it's going to be a 40-minute match too. That's my biggest problem with it. We know, they going to hype it up. It's going to be
predictability is real. When you fan book to the point where the fans already know what you're going to do because you're going to do what they tell them to, you've lost the plot in wrestling.
Oh, John Moxley, Kenny Omega, 40-minute match guaranteed. You know it. And it's going to start the show because she don't want to run.
That was a decent match, though. Kenny Omega is the one wrestler you can put in long matches like that, and 9 times out of 10, he's going to show out.
My problem with it is put it on the pay-per-view. Stop putting it on random Wednesdays.
Yeah,
so everybody.
When you got a 2 hour, all you got is 2 hours. When you throw a 50-minute main event in there or a 40-minute main event, you've done ate up almost half of your time with one match. Yeah, so how are you going to get anything else across?
Yeah, Lee Moriarty not going to get TV time, and all these talented people not going to get TV
Which he should. Lee Moriarty is one of the best up-and-coming wrestlers. I know you people have heard me say this already, but Lee Moriarty is so technical, so good. Like, he's good. He's good.
Yeah. Let's do something quick. I know this whole show was about AEW. We disappointed in the show. I didn't think it was bad. Torrey thought it was terrible, but
I thought it was horrible.
I thought just because of the hype he set up that the show I know a lot of people like the show. I didn't hate the show either. I thought it was a good show. I just didn't like it. Didn't live up.
It was mid.
You had too many like lame segments in there. Like, I thought NXT 2.0 was good this week. Why? Because everybody's getting better.
It was. I watched it on the recommendation of the great Zelmae, and I can't agree. They are, except for Wendy Chu. Wendy Chu is so stupid.
And she's so bad in the ring. She's like trying to make this work.
Her gimmick is so dumb. How do you go from 1,000-year-old evil demonic Japanese witch lady to sleepy wannabe magical girl?
Oh,
come on.
But like I said, everybody's improving.
We were going to talk about Vince McMahon's hatred of Matt Hardy.
Oh, yeah. For the people that don't know, apparently Vince McMahon gave Jeff Hardy a Hall of Fame spot to come back. Jeff was open to it. I know a lot of people at AEW saying, like, why would Jeff ever go back? No, he was open to it. But his thing was, is my brother.
Because it's good money and an easy schedule, people. Come on now.
And he was like, my brother going in the Hall of Fame with me. And Vince like, hell no.
No. And no.
He like,
but for those of you who don't know, every time Matt Hardy has left the WWE, he has said something crazy dumb about WWE, whether it be Vince, whether it be the booking, whether it be a multitude of things. And then his wife playing crazy piano in the background of his matches. And then she gets on. I mean, shout out to Matt Hardy. He got him a black wife. Good for him. But she talks entirely too much on your behalf. And Rebby Hardy on Twitter is toxic. Just so you all know.
Her and Jim Cornette rivalry is still the best rivalry. I would
That
actually
is,
see a promo.
that is one of the best rivalries I have seen in a long time.
I need a promo battle on AEW. Just give me a Bret Hart versus.
I really just wish
30 minutes of them just dissing each other.
TK would have been like here, because I mean, I understand Jim turned him down. Because for those of you who don't know, originally, TK wanted to bring Jim Cornette in as a booking partner in AEW, but Jim's getting older. He's got his podcast. He's not trying to do the whole TV thing. So he told TK, I will be more than happy to consult with you on some things. And TK didn't want that. He was like, no, if I can't have you as an on-air personality, I don't want you just behind the scenes. And regardless of what anybody says about Jim Cornette, you don't win Booker of the Year 3 years, 4 years in a row for no reason.
I always remember Kane chokeslams. Kane chokeslammed every booker that WWE.
Yeah.
If you ever booked in WWE, Kane has chokeslammed you.
But one thing, Jim Cornette has an amazing elbow drop, though. Jim Cornette does an elbow drop that's almost as good as The Rock's. I'm not even lying. Go look it up, people. Yeah. Jim Cornette has certain technical things he's done in the wrestling ring where you know that, okay, he knows wrestling.
Yeah, Kane chokeslammed Paul Heyman, John Laurinaitis. Didn't he chokeslam Bruce Pritchard?
He also taught Jim Cornette taught Kane how to do the Undertaker sit-up, for those of you who don't know.
Oh, that's good.
Because Kane wasn't doing it right. There's a certain way you got to do the Undertaker sit-up and if you can't do it right, there just ain't no point in doing it.
Yeah. But apparently he hates Matt Hardy gut, and it's the reason Jeff Hardy is not in WWE right now, because he won a Hall of Fame with his brother. That's according to Matt too, by the way. So it's according to Matt.
Yeah. So sometimes you got to take what old Matt Hardy says with a grain of salt, though.
Well, I don't think he would say this, because I think Matt would rather have Jeff.
I don't know, as many blows to the head as Matt Hardy has taken.
But I think Matt Hardy, if he could take a shot at WWE, I think Matt would have took it. But he didn't, so you're like, yeah, Jeff would have did it if they would have. I feel like Matt would have been like, Jeff said, screw you, Vince.
Yeah.
That would have been his story.
I could see that. I could definitely see that.
But he said, no, bro. He offered him. Jeff was like, can me and my brother go in the Hall of Fame? You're like, no, I don't really like him. Even Matt always, even in his interview, he said, I always felt like Vince chose Jeff over me. And he did. He always chose Jeff over you.
Jeff was better. Jeff was better than Matt. Anyone that wants to argue that point, I mean,
Vince only gave Matt one push, and that was him versus Edge.
He got one run as WWE champion. I think it was during the CM Punk feud, wasn't it? In 2011, I do believe.
Didn't that come after the Edge rivalry, or was it before the Edge?
Yeah. Because it was just before the CM Punk rivalry started, which was a very divisive rivalry. I don't know how I feel about Vince's willingness to play on people's real life struggles. I mean, sometimes it works, but even before people try and rail me, even CM Punk has said that he feels like that angle was in bad taste at certain points in time. And it really was.
John Moxley said it too.
If you're a struggling addict, the last thing you need is to have to get on every week and talk about that.
Yeah. We talked about the other day, John bringing it up, and Torrey said it's part of his WWE conditioning. But John even said it about when Roman Reigns got canceled, and Vince like, go out there and diss him. Like, what?
Yep.
This is my brother.
You gotta go out there and say something bad about him.
This is my best friend.
It's like the Shield was they were a unit, and he was like, I don't care that you have cancer. And we're like, oh. Well, that's...
People be mad, but people give Vince credit because a man that's willing to book himself to beat God is kind of something wrong with him.
Yeah. I mean, Vince McMahon single-handedly dismantled the whole territory system of wrestling. So... Vince McMahon has never been an amazing booker. He has never been an amazing matchmaker in any way, shape, or form.
He's an amazing moment person.
He is a top-tier promoter. He knows how to promote people.
Shoot,
maybe not now.
The Forbidden Door thing that he just let ride just because he said the word was beautiful promotion to me anyway. That had me. Even though technically he did use it because Jeff Jarrett do not work for GCW and he was on SmackDown. So I guess he is kind of open to it. Because we forget that Jeff Jarrett was on SmackDown like 2 weeks.
Yeah, that's true. I didn't even think about that. And Jeff Jarrett looks like an Undertaker ripoff in GCW.
And he got to wear his gear from the GCW thing because he had that little stupid looking weird thing on.
Yeah.
Yeah, because he was in the back just sitting around. I'm like, why, bro? Why are you dressed to wrestle and you not wrestling?
It is stupid. I hate that. I hate when people run in and make saves in their wrestling and then they don't have a match later. Like, why were you already in your gear if you were running in to make a save?
By the way, this is one thing that came from the pandemic. Vince finally let people wear regular clothes on TV.
Yes. If you're going to make a save, please, wrestlers, be in your street clothes unless you were about to wrestle.
They are finally doing it. I seen Sasha wear regular clothes. Now Charlotte wear regular clothes. Used to, they would come out in clothes to wrestle. And they didn't even have, they just talk in a talking segment in like, I'm like, this is an interview. Why are you in clothes when you're not finna wrestle?
Why are you? And then, big surprise, somebody attacks you in the middle of the interview, and now there's a match. No wonder you were wearing your ring attire.
Now they don't, so the pandemic has literally cut that down a lot.
And that's something, TK, please stop having these people run in on every segment where we can tell that they are just barely off of camera and then step in so we know that they were there the whole time. Because I had a big problem with last week, the whole Ass Boys versus Jungle Boy and Luchasaurus. Like Billy Gunn, oh, come on, cameraman. Bro, why is Jungle Boy standing out in the cold texting on his phone?
Yo, Jim Ross will literally just say whatever he got a problem with.
Oh, yeah. Shout out to Jim Ross for shooting straight during commentary. He don't care no more. He just survived skin cancer. He does not care. He is like, oh, I hate this.
Yo, for real.
He's like, this is dumb. I have heard him say that multiple times on commentary. Like, this is stupid. And he just sounds so serious when he says it.
For y'all that don't know, the segment with Brandy Rose and Banana Lamb, he's like, this is terrible booking.
He really did.
Yeah, I forgot who was wrestling. It was a women's match. And he said, I don't understand this invisible wall when no one's blocking them from fighting and they just stand there and stop.
It was Chris Statlander and it was Britt. It was Britt Baker and somebody, and they quit chasing her. And that's another Jim Cornette thing. He said that
they stopped.
Bill Watts used to say it back in the day. Why do you stop when is there an invisible wall there? Which is also where Jim Ross got it from. Bill Watts and Midwest Wrestling back in the 1980s before I was born. So
he really said, I don't get this invisible wall. She's right there. Nobody's stopping you from chasing her.
I was going to say, ain't nothing stopping you. Just get down there. Come on now.
I like the fact he called it out because some tropes that both come to you don't make sense to me.
People forget that, and I've seen people try to criticize Jim Ross about a lot of things. Just so you guys know, a lot of your favorite wrestlers during the Attitude Era would not have got the pushes that they got without Jim Ross. I saw some people trying to talk bad about Jim Ross because he had something to say about the women's match. They were like, oh, Jim Ross hated China. The joke's on you, bruh. Jim Ross literally was the manager of talent relations. He brought in China himself. How are you going to say he must have never seen China wrestle when she wouldn't have had a job without him? I need you people to stop the Jim Ross slander. That man has seen more wrestling than most of us will ever see, has been involved in some of the most iconic angles in the sport.
People like he's not he's not as passionate he used to be, but he's old as dirt now.
He's old. He just got done fighting skin cancer.
He was old when he was doing that with Stone Cold. This is 30 years
very,
later.
Very true. But he also had a stroke during that time. Yeah. He got Bell's palsy during that time.
So he's not gonna he's not gonna do his Chris Jericho impersonation of him anymore.
And like some people don't realize, you wouldn't have the game Triple H if he wouldn't have had that interview with Jim Ross.
And
he would never got off that game line. So
yeah, and he
just respect Jim Ross, people. Come on now.
Triple H, the true son of a.
Yeah. And never forget, Jim Ross got set on fire by Kane on live TV before Bray Wyatt got burned in the middle of the ring by Randy Orton on Christmas Eve.
It made sense, though. That storyline made sense because Kane was like an evil.
It did.
Just burn the old man. Just burn this random old man.
Kane was the big red machine. I mean,
when Kane, we finna get off the show, but when Kane first went bald, he was a demon. And then they just made him something else. I don't know what happened. You remember
after See No Evil, after he did See No Evil, we were like, and now he's the mayor of Knox County, Tennessee.
Yeah, that man was burning people and all kind of stuff. So I'm like, Kane was vicious when he first got that mask on.
He was a true menace.
He out here, he like, Kane, Jim Ross, Kane, how does it feel to be out your man? He set him on fire. I'm like, you just set this 65-year-old man on fire.
It was a crazy time.
By the way, I want to say this before we get off. 2016, 2018 might have been the best period for WWE ever. And I'm just saying that.
Really?
I love that period. That's the
okay. Well, I'm of a different opinion. I'd say 2009 to 2011 was probably WWE in its technical prime.
That's what I'm talking about. We're not talking about Attitude Era.
Because that's when you got Daniel Bryan in there. You got CM Punk in there. You got that first wave of ROH signings in there.
AJ Styles matches were incredible. The Daniel Bryan matches was incredible.
I honestly, I don't know if you realize. I didn't realize how many times AJ Styles has had a match with John Cena.
Yes.
And he's had like 5 matches with John Cena.
And all of them was great.
They were all amazing. I literally went back and watched them not too long ago just because I didn't know how many there were. Favorite? And there is not a bad match of the bunch.
Which one was your favorite? Was it Royal Rumble or was it No Way Out? Which one was it?
The Royal Rumble was good, but I think No Way Out, whatever their first encounter was my favorite one. The very first match they had. I cannot remember what pay-per-view that was on, but it was so good because even though John Cena won, it got AJ over still. Like you could tell that John Cena had to put everything he had into that match to win.
Oh, and then him versus Rey Mysterio.
Oh.
Yo, AJ had when AJ first got they put him on and said wrestle, and that's
how many people I saw saying that Samoa Joe was supposed to be going to be CM Punk's partner. You know how amazing that would have been? I'd have shut up. I wouldn't. If that would have happened, I wouldn't have had nothing bad to say about AEW. If Samoa Joe would have came out with CM Punk last night, you give me Keith Lee, Jay White, and
you can also blame people being disappointed on CM Punk actually asking Samoa Joe if he coming out. And he did.
Yeah.
Like that didn't help the fire at all.
It didn't. It really didn't.
So people saw that tweet and was like, "Is it?
Is it really him?"
Then he got John Moxley like, that's cool.
Cool. It was decent. It was decent.
That's cool.
That was. The show as a whole, though, in the immortal words of MJF, it was mid.
I thought it was pretty good. It just wasn't hyped up to me, but it was a good show. And I have a lot of problem with a lot of AEW shows, by the way, because it's like I
mean, y'all know I don't care for Tony Khan's booking. He's got some of the best talent in the world right now, and he is just putting them in lackluster stories if they aren't MJF.
I keep saying we're finna go off, but yeah, I saw a person that said AEW women's roster is way better than WWE's. I'm like, it got better. It's not nowhere near no.
But it ain't. Y'all are crazy.
Io Shirai is like would be number 1 or 2 in AEW, and she's down the list.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
And she plays into Kenny Omega's Japanese schoolgirl fetish, so she'd be top notch.
Io Shirai and Sarai, just come on.
Yeah.
All right. But y'all take it easy. Let us know your thoughts in the comments. Did you love this show? Did you agree with me? Was it good? Are we both tripping and was great? Was it mid as he said? Or did you hate the show? It can be in there.
Don't lie to yourselves, people.
Also, tell us about, do you think the women's roster of AEW is better than WWE's? That's insane because the star power or the wrestling ain't on that level.
And also, tell us if you like Hangman's championship run so far. I want to know how many of you guys really actually care about it, because I don't feel like you do. I know I don't.
I want to know if why outside Daniel Bryan they like don't even put him on TV.
Yeah.
I just like put him on TV. Like even he said in the promo, like, "Hey, bro, I want to be out here. What am I doing?"
He's like, why am I not being used?
And then like, "Hey, get Lance Archer, who haven't been here in months. So here you go. This is my feud." All right,
yeah,
y'all take it easy. Love y'all. Let us know in the comments. Tell Torrey you hate him and you love me.
Let me know.
All right, peace.
It was mid though, just so you guys know.